Hey everyone, welcome to Live with DJ Rossstar. Today is Monday, March 23rd, 2026. On the show today, I'm going to talk to Tim. He's from two different groups. One is called Allister and the other is called Hot Alice. If you have questions, you can post them in the chat below. Before we get to the interview, I want to let you know that this show is live every week, twice a week, but the days and the times change. So make sure you give me a follow here on Instagram to find out who's going to be on the show next. Also, I like to tell people before we get going here, if you're in a band or you just really like a band and you want them to be interviewed on this show, feel free to send me a DM. I listen to all requests, and if I think it's a good fit, I'll have you on. I've been doing interviews over the internet for over the last 20 years, and I've been doing it specifically on Instagram Live since last June. So if you go back on my page, you can see interviews I've done with Less Than Jake, Hit the Lights, Ballyhoo, Rematch, Sucker Punch, and tons more. It's now 5 o'clock Central Time. I'm going to bring Tim into the room, and we're going to get the interview started. So hang out just 1 second. And as I said, I am happy to be here today. I've been a huge Allister fan since 1999, so I'm really excited to catch up with Tim. I think it's been about 20 plus years since him and I have done an interview, so it's going to be great. Tim has now entered the room, waiting for him to request to go live, and we'll get things going. He is ready. Here we go. Hello there.
Hey, what's going on?
Immediately, I love your wall. I see the screeching weasel. Are these all vinyls?
Yes, yeah, that's Screeching Weasel. We got Marvelous 3. What do we got? Jimmy World, and then Face to Face.
Are the
Four of my
records
favorites.
are the records still in there, or are those just on display and the records are in the
Those are
collection?
just on display. Yeah.
Was it hard to pick four, or are those your four favorite albums of all time?
It was tough. I mean, man, I put these up, what, like 10 years ago, I think, when I moved into this place. And like, I sat and debated it for a little bit, but these are probably definitely four of my top 10 favorite records. And I
Wow.
thought, like, when I first put them up, I was like, well, maybe I'll switch it out like every year or two. And then I was like, nah, I just got too lazy. So I'm good with
And
these.
and Screeching Weasel have like what, 15 plus albums plus all the different random things they've done?
Probably, yeah. Something like
Wow.
that.
Well, welcome to the show. I'm glad I got you here. It's been like 20 plus years since I've talked to you.
Yeah, glad to be on. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I saw you were going to be on this Green Day compilation with Hot Alice, and I said I got to talk to you about this because
For sure.
there's been many a Green Day comp in the past. There was one that had a lot of screamo on it, and I know Weezer did Warrior Rock on that comp. Uh, but this one seems to have like 70 plus songs, so I wanted to know how you got involved with this.
You know, it's weird. Like, I don't know exactly how we got involved with it. Like, I know that we're all huge, massive Green Day fans. And our drummer Chris, in particular, is a huge Green Day fan. And he's really got his pulse on kind of like the scene still, like much more so than the rest of us do. And
Sure.
so from time to time, like he'll see these things pop up, and just one day out of the blue, he's like, "Hey guys, I'm gonna submit us to be on this Green Day comp. Do you want to do it?" And we're like, "Yeah, let's do it." And so we were lucky enough to get chosen for it, and we recorded the song like, I don't know, in a day, and then submitted it, and it was great, and it's awesome, and we're super stoked.
So you did Walking Contradiction, and you can hear
We
it on your
did.
Bandcamp. Did they give you a list of songs to choose, or did you come up with that one as the winner?
We had a list of songs, I think, for ourselves that we wanted to do. I think we had like 4 or 5 that was on our list. And we sent that to them, and like 3 of them were already taken. So they were like, "You can choose between these two," and we're like, "Okay, we'll do Walking Contradiction."
What were the top five? I'm just curious.
Oh my God, I don't even know if I remember. Walking Contradiction, probably some stuff off Dookie. God, who wrote Holden Caulfield, I think was on there, and
Great
probably
one.
something else. Probably either 2000 Light Years Away or One for the Razorback, something else off Kerplunk, probably.
Also good. I like that your version's a little bit faster than the album
Mhm.
version, but I like that because whenever Green Day play it live, which is seldom, they usually do a faster version anyway. So yours kind of matches up with the live one.
Yeah, and what was cool about it is like, I mean, I don't know how many people can tell this, but like in the real version of it, right? There's a huge tempo change, like from the very beginning as they start to go into it.
Yeah.
And we were like, we sort of debated, like, at least I did in my head, should we try to do that or should we just play to a click track and just try to do it? So we ended up just scrapping the idea of like trying to match what Green Day did in the tempo change, and we just played to a click. But I love it. I think it was cool.
Most people probably can't tell anyway.
Probably not.
You did it in one day. How many takes did it take?
I don't know, maybe three,
That's
maybe
pretty good.
four. I mean, we didn't actually track it live. We tracked it instrument by instrument. So we laid down the drums first, but that only took, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes. And then the rest of the guitars, maybe two takes through each one.
Pretty good.
So yeah.
Well, I've never seen Hot Alice live, sadly, but I did look on your page a bit, and there was a picture of a set list, and at one point it said Green Day song. Was that the same song that you played live, or did you do a different one?
No, that's an original song that we just never titled.
Oh, okay.
And,
So it sounds
and
like a Green Day song.
yeah, and it sounds like a Green Day song, and it sort of reminded us of like old school throwback Green Day, so we just, for whatever reason, titled it Green Day song. But it's never been released. Like we've never put it on anything. In fact, I don't even know if we ended up finished mixing it to release. So it's still just kind of sitting in our archives.
Okay, so now people who want to have everything you've ever done are going to be bugging you, knocking down your door for this track.
True. They could get it like because we do every once in a while play it live.
Okay,
So they can request it and we'll play it live and then they can, take a video and put it on YouTube or whatever people do.
close enough to the official thing.
That's right, exactly.
So I wanted to ask you. You told me a bit of information the other day off camera here. One of my favorite live Green Day shows of all time that's televised is Jaded in Chicago, uh,
Yes.
done in November of 1994. I do not remember when they put it on MTV, but I watched the night it came out. And you told me you were at that show.
I was.
I think that's up there with Woodstock 94, so I wanted to know any crazy memories you might have from that show.
I do. So my craziest memory from that show is I think I was 15, maybe I had just turned 16, and I was supposed to go to the show with my friend Brian, and his dad was going to give us a ride to the show. So I get dropped off at Brian's house at like I don't know 5:30, and he's like, my dad is just coming home from a business trip. He'll be home in a minute. He'll drive us to the show. We're like, okay. So it's like 6 o'clock. No dad yet. It's like 6:30. I'm like, Brian, where's your dad, man? Like, what's going on? He's like, he's gonna be here like any minute. And so finally it's like 7 or 7:30, and I'm like, dude, like we're gonna miss the show. This is like I've
Yeah,
been waiting for this for months and
not
months. I'm
cool.
like, this is crazy. It's not cool, right? And this
Yeah,
was like, but we were only 16, so we couldn't exactly call a cab. Like we couldn't
no.
really do anything else. We didn't have cars. So it's finally like 7 o'clock or 7:30, whatever it was. Rolls around. His dad runs in, grabs the keys. He's like, "All right, let's go." And his dad like just guns the engine, sped all the way from the suburbs of Chicago into the city, dropped us off in front. Literally, we ran in, and I'm pretty sure the Pansy Division had just finished their set. Like they were
Wow.
just
Okay.
gotten off stage, and we ran in. I bought a T-shirt really quick, and like within 10 minutes Green Day was on stage, and I like made my way to the front and crowd surfed, and it was awesome. It was so good.
That's actually cool. You didn't have to sit through Die Toten Hosen and then Pansy Division. Although
Yeah,
they're great bands. If you weren't in the mood, you didn't have to worry. You just walk right in and made
yeah.
your way up
Just
there.
I walked right in, and then it was Green Day, which was pretty
You were that
cool.
annoying person that I still
I was,
I still
yes,
hate to this day that pushes through at the last second.
totally. Yep, that was
Was
me.
that your first Green Day experience, or did you see them before?
That was my first Green Day experience. Yeah, yep, it
Because I've
was.
watched other YouTube videos of them playing all over Chicago and the Illinois area, going back to the early '90s.
Yeah, there was a club not too far from me actually in the suburbs called McGregor's that they used to play at
That's the big one on YouTube.
with
Yeah,
Screeching Weasel I think a couple of times. And that I wasn't quite yet super into punk rock. And I was probably still too young. I don't think my parents probably would have let me go by myself because that was
yeah.
probably when I was like 14, maybe 13, 14-ish. Um, but sad I missed those, but glad I got to see those. And then I saw them on the Insomniac tour when they played with the Riverdales, so that was cool.
And I'm only 2 years younger than you, so I did go to Dookie Tour, and my parents did take me. They refused to let me go myself. And then Insomniac Tour, I went with my friend's mother and
Nice.
That was also kind of lame because he was demanding that we fill up the pit, and she wouldn't let us go. We had to say we
Oh,
completed
brutal.
section 300. So
Brutal.
the
It's funny that that Insomniac tour, still to this day, I think is the loudest show I've ever been at. Like it was
really,
yeah, it was so unbelievably loud at the UIC Pavilion. Like I just remember leaving and like my ears hurt, my head hurt, but I was like so in awe, both of the Riverdales and of Green Day because I love the Riverdales, and I obviously I love Screeching Weasel too.
yeah.
So that, like for me, that was just such an awesome show.
And then the first one I was able to go to alone was when they played Tower Records in New York City when they destroyed
Oh,
the store at the end of the set.
nice.
That was the first time I was allowed to go with friends. I was 97, so yeah, I was 15 at that point. It was November, so I was 15, and it was total
Nice.
chaos, and I loved it. And then the next night was the Nimrod tour at Roseland Ballroom,
Hell
and
yeah.
after that, I just started going to every show I could in New York, going to CMXPX, at Goldfinger, and whoever came by. I just kept going back from Long Island to the city to watch live music, and that's what got me into going to shows. I don't know if those
Nice.
two shows specifically made you want to go to more concerts or not.
I mean, it was certainly a catalyst. I had been to the Fireside Bowl a couple of times before that Green Day show. I remember like the first show I ever saw at the Fireside was with the Boll Weevils and Rhythm Collision, and
Okay.
like that was my first punk rock experience ever. It was probably like early '94. So probably like 6, 7 months before that Jaded in Chicago show. And I just remember being at the Fireside and like being in that atmosphere and seeing those bands and thinking this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life, and like I have to be a part of this in some way, shape, or form. And so it's
Well,
cool.
that's a good question. So, what happens after those shows? When do you start playing music and trying to take it seriously, I guess?
I mean, I had always like I grew up in sort of a musical household, so my dad has always been in a band, and so there was always musical instruments like in my house. There was a drum set in my basement ever since I can remember,
That's so
and from
convenient. Great.
yeah, from when I was little, like I would just go down there and bang around, and like when we started Allister, like I was originally the drummer, and so that's how we started the band. I started it with with John and Eric, when I was whatever 17,
Yeah.
and started off as the drummer. And probably after going to the Fireside and seeing those Green Day shows and doing that, that's when we really decided like I think we could do this ourselves, right? Like maybe we can write our own songs, and like even if we can't, who cares? It's still fun to play. And
Did
so that was kind of the genesis of it.
Did you want to sing at that point when you were playing drums? Was it like eating away at you that you wanted to be up front?
Not, no, not really. I didn't really care. Although I did think that playing drums and singing at the same time was dumb. I didn't really like doing that. I just thought it was stupid.
Okay, so
So
you were
I,
doing that a bit.
yeah, because I was doing that a bit, and I just thought I thought it was weird. It was just kind of a weird vibe, at least for me. I don't know if other people thought that. But I didn't really care because I liked playing drums because I'm a much better drummer, or I was a much better drummer than I was at the time, a guitar player or singer.
Yeah.
So I felt comfortable back there doing that. But then I realized like I started writing more songs and started singing more. I was like, well, maybe it makes just more sense to like try to play guitar a little bit better and maybe move up front and play. So that's kind of what happened.
So was there just one singer at the time, or was Eric singing also?
Eric was singing too, and John was singing, and I was singing. So technically, I guess we had three singers. And then when Scotty joined the band, whatever, when we were like
Yeah, four singers.
19, yeah, then we had four singers, which was cool. We didn't always do 4-part harmonies, but every once in a while we did, and we pretty regularly would do 3-part harmonies, which I feel like sort of set us apart a little bit,
Yeah, for sure.
and sort of, distinguished us a little bit from some of the other bands, at least in the Chicago scene at the time.
What was the first Alistair song that you wrote? Lyrically, it was your song that you ended up using.
Ooh, man, oh man, now we're going to the Wayback Machine.
Yeah, man. That's how I roll
Gosh.
here.
Um, God, I don't. That's a good question. Honestly, I don't even know. I don't even know if I could give you an answer. It was probably I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head right now. But there's a song
Someone
off
watching
of
probably knows.
yes, there's a song off of our first EP called "You Can't Do That on Vinyl." It was
Yep.
sort of like a ska punk song that may have been one of the first songs I ever wrote for the band. There was probably some other ones too that just got scrapped and like we never actually recorded.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Um, but I think that one, and I don't know why it's so long ago. I can't remember. And we've never played it. We probably haven't played that song in 30 years, so I don't even remember what it's called anymore.
There's still time.
There's still time, yes.
So what about Hot Alice? What was the first song you did for that project?
The first that I can remember because the first song I wrote for Hot Alice was a song called Jimmy Legs.
Okay.
And I originally started Hot Alice when Allister kind of stopped playing back in 2007, right? And I sort of took like a year or two off. I just needed to get away from music, kind of focus on my family and kind of
Yeah.
do what I needed to do. And then I really got the itch to play again. And at that time, it was difficult for Alistair to get together and practice. So I was like, well, maybe I can start up another band and get with some other guys. But I want to try something different. I want to make it sound a little bit different. I want to try some new things. And so I wrote this song called Jimmy Legs that's kind of centered around like a guitar riff as opposed to centered around like a chorus melody, which is how Alistair usually wrote all of our songs.
Sure.
Um, and so that was kind of how Hot Alice began, and that's sort of the mindset that we bring to it now is that we like guitar riffs, and we try to write songs like that, in that vein, but we don't always get there, but sometimes we do.
Alex Stein in the chat said Jimmy's Dream Girl. I do not believe that the new Jimmy song is a sequel to that one. Are
No,
we
it's not.
correct?
No, something different. Jimmy's Dream Girl was actually probably like the sixth or seventh song that Alistair ever wrote. And that actually, I'll never forget where we were when we wrote that song. We were in Eric's basement playing a show um, to like some local punk rock kids who lived in Naperville at the time. And we were sitting around and John showed us this idea for a song. He's like, I got this idea for a song. And like, we had the song done and written within probably 15 minutes. And I think we even played it at the show that night. So it was
That's
written
punk rock
and
right there.
played, yeah, within like, I don't know, an hour and a half. So that was pretty cool.
So when you were first starting out with Alistair and playing all these songs that ended up on the first record, what were the immediate ones that people coming to the shows latched onto compared to years later when everybody already got the record and had heard it for years?
Yeah, I mean, I think when we first started writing Dead Ends and Girlfriends, Jimmy's Dream Girl was one. Jacob Thinks I'm Gay is another one. Maybe Timing was another song that was, I don't want to say popular, but people tend to recognize. But I
Pretty
don't think
good. Yeah.
I mean, and it's hard to remember that far back,
Oh
because
yeah.
I feel like the years with that record went by so fast, and then because we were already writing for Last Stop Suburbia when we recorded that
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, you
when
did so
that
many
that
songs.
record. And so yeah, and so we sort of stopped playing a lot of those songs because we had all the Last Stop Suburbia songs pretty much ready to go. And then we just started playing those, and that's when it sort of took off.
And now when you play years later, people want to hear the oldest songs you have, but they may not get to hear them.
Yeah, and it's funny because we just had Alistair practice the other day, starting to get ready for some shows that we have coming up. And one of the things I was telling the guys is I was like, one of the hardest things for me to do now is to remember lyrics. Like I just cannot remember lyrics. Like I need one of those massive teleprompters like in front of
Yeah,
me,
if
like in
you're
like as a
Green,
monitor, just to
why
remember.
not?
Like,
Green Day have those now too. Who cares, right?
it's crazy. Like it's
No big,
it's
no big
insane.
deal.
Yeah.
Do you ever change lyrics now years later? If you're going to play a really old song, maybe you don't like the way it sounds nowadays and you reworded it?
Not really, no, not so much lyrics, but we did back in 2019, we Alistair released like sort of a compilation, like a greatest
Yeah.
hits, like a best of 20 years. And to get around some of the copyright issues, we re-recorded some of the songs that
Okay, I was
were
wondering why you did that. I thought it was just for fun. I mean, it sounds great.
yeah, so we re-recorded a couple of those songs, and we changed them up just a little bit, right? Enough to make them a little bit different,
Yeah.
trying to make them a little bit more modern, at least we thought. But it's such a weird, like, it's such a fine line to walk, right? Because on one hand, I'm a huge advocate of like when you put art out into the world, right? It's there for a reason, and that's how you created it. And going back and fucking with it isn't always the best thing to do. But sometimes you want to give those things another shake, right? Because
Yeah.
sometimes you can improve on them and make them a little bit better. So I feel like we did that a little bit, and it wasn't too egregious to make the songs completely different, and like may potentially turn people off.
What do you think came out the best of all the ones you reworked?
Actually, I think the songs from Last Stop Suburbia, I'm not sorry, not Last Stop Suburbia, Dead Ends Girlfriends. I think we redid Moper, and I
Yeah,
think we redid Jacob. And those two songs I thought came out sounding pretty good. Like they just sound like a little bit more modern punk rock songs.
I agree. So you're having band practice. How often do you hang out with Hot Alice if you're busy doing Alistair stuff? How do you divide your time?
Actually, it's funny because I hang out with the guys in Hot Alice much more so than with Alistair.
Okay,
So Alistair, like, because Scotty lives in Japan full time. So we don't really get together that often to practice or to play. But with Hot Alice, we all live basically within like, I don't know, 15, 20, 25 minutes of each other.
that's
So
great.
we practice pretty regularly. And right now we're getting together usually on a weekly basis to write some new stuff for hopefully a new record fairly
Okay,
soon.
I was gonna say it looks like it's been 2 years since the EP, aside from the Green Day cover. So
Yeah, yeah.
people
So
want
yeah,
more from you.
we're writing right now. We got, I don't know, probably like five songs done. I don't know, maybe another three or four sort of in the hopper that we're sort of like working out. But it's such a weird thing right now, like with music these days, like we kind of don't know, like, is it better to put out just like an EP, like five or six songs? Or is it better to do a full length, right? Like we're old school, we're old men,
Yeah,
and like we kind of like the idea of a full length, but also we have families and full-time jobs, and
yeah,
like it's a lot harder to do that these days.
yeah. It's a lot of
So
work.
yeah, it's a lot of work. So we'll see.
I would say like 90% of my interviews now are newer artists because
Hmm.
most of the artists I like don't exist anymore, right?
Yeah.
So they tell me that they usually the way it works is they release I think one song every 2 to 3 months. I think that
Hmm.
has something to do with Spotify, whatever. And then they'll release like four, five, six in a year, and then at the end they'll release them all as an EP.
Okay.
But I don't like that. I'm old like you.
Yeah,
I like 15 songs at once.
exactly. Like it's funny because it's not necessarily a question of right or wrong, right? There's no right or wrong way to do things,
Yeah.
but there is a question of preference. And I'm, like you said, like I'm in that category of like I like doing a full length, right? I like having something tangible that you can press and hold in your hand, and
Oh
it
yeah.
makes it feel a little bit more realistic, right? When you cast something out into the digital world, it's just like out there, and it's like, is it real? Like, what is this thing that I just put out there?
By the way, if you are watching live, we do have a chat here, so you can send questions. Steve said he saw you at the Drive Through Records stage back on the Warp Tour.
Right on.
One of my favorite stories is, I believe it's Drive Through Invasion Volume 3 or 4. There's an interview with you, and it's mislabeled as being on my show. I always got a kick out of that because it was like free advertising for me. I don't know who decided that was DJ
Hell
Ross. It
yeah.
was not, but it was just on there in big letters. I said, well, that's kind of cool. It's not really me, but it's kind of me.
Nice.
We got Stan Ridge Avenue says full length CDs for the win. Okay.
Yes.
Old school right there. Well, how many Hot Alice songs are even out there if we combined everything? Less than 15?
Let's
Maybe
see.
like 17 or 18.
Probably something like that. I think we have three EPs. I think the first one had eight songs, and then five, and then six. So what is that? 19?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Is
there's
it
about
cool for you? Is it cool for you to have a project where it's just you? Like all these songs are you singing and you wrote all the lyrics as opposed to dividing it up?
Yeah, it is cool. But I don't do that in Hot Alice
Oh,
either.
you don't? Oh, okay.
No, my brother writes half the songs too,
Yeah, I didn't know
and
that. That's
and
great.
sings. Yeah. So it's cool,
Wow.
but we have similar voices, so sometimes you can't exactly tell
That's literally why I didn't know that. I thought it was you on
who's.
every song.
Yeah, sometimes you can't tell who's singing. In fact, sometimes we can't even distinguish who's singing.
It
We were talking
reminds me
about
what
that not too long ago.
it
Yeah.
reminds me when I was super young and Jason White joined Pinhead Gunpowder, and I didn't know that he was singing back and forth with Billy Joe. I just thought it was Billy Joe on every song.
I didn't know. That's news to me. I had no idea
Oh,
that.
really? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
interesting.
yeah.
All right.
And then every album after Goodbye Elson Avenue, it's always just Billy Joe and Jason White taking turns.
Nice. Okay.
The more
Good
you
to
know.
know.
Now you gotta
Yeah,
go check it out today.
that's right. I am gonna go check it out. That's right.
I was able to see them live 4 times in 2008, so I was able to
Oh,
witness
that's
the
cool.
magic in real life.
Yeah. Nice. Very
Um,
nice.
Alex said old school pop punk albums are always 13 songs and 30 minutes long and still feel perfect. 13 is a good number.
Yeah, and there's something about like that 30 to 35 minute range of an album, right? Like it's long enough to be productive, but it's not too long where it drags on. You're like, just shut this shit off already.
Another thing people do now is they collaborate. They have like a guest on a song, or some of these bands have a guest on almost every song. I don't know if that's something you would ever want to do. I don't know if you've ever. I can't think if there's ever been like a guest on Allister at all. And maybe didn't AJ from Lit do just like gang vocals on a track, and that was about it.
Yeah,
Collab?
AJ from Lit sang some gang vocals on us. I remember Ariel from the Hippos played a guitar solo on one of the songs on Last Stop Suburbia. But nothing ever featured.
Yeah,
Like I don't know how I feel about that. Someone would probably have to convince me a little bit more why that's cool.
yeah. I think it's just good you get fans from both bands at the same time hearing the track. Maybe.
I get that. Yeah.
What about
I
like you could do like a duet with just like a female singer. That might be an interesting dynamic.
That would be cool. Yeah.
You
That
haven't
would
done that
definitely be
before,
cool.
huh?
No, haven't done that. No.
Okay, it's something we can do. We can look forward to that, hopefully.
All right. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's talk about April 1st. Looks like you're doing a one-man show. I'll call it
Yes, a
that.
one-man show, exactly.
For the Northern Illinois University.
Yeah, I'm doing a show at Northern Illinois in the Husky Den. I'm playing for an hour, and then it's like an hour of Q&A. I mean, the Q&A portion can really just kind of be about anything, but it's
For
sort
sure.
of geared more towards about how punk rock influences or can have influence on social issues. So it should be cool. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time.
I was reading it said in collab with the Punk Rock Club. Is that a club on this college campus, the Punk Rock
I
Club?
I think so. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with it, but I think it is. I don't know what they do or like
And I
how
think
it's sponsor who sponsors it or what, but
that's true. I wish when I went to college there was a punk rock club. In fact, I'll tell you, when I went to look at colleges, my father embarrassed me because he spoke to multiple people at different schools and kept asking them if they had punk rock clubs that I could join with. And I kept saying, please don't say anything about that. And he just kept saying, it's what you like. I want to ask them. And every school said, we don't know what that is. We don't have a punk rock
nice.
club.
See, I like to think when I went to college, we started our own unsanctioned punk rock club of just like the cool people at school.
Yeah. And I mean, the closest thing I got was joining my radio station and meeting people
Yeah,
like my friend Steve Sievers who's watching. And he had another punk rock radio show. And that's how you get in the circle of trust out there in college. It's hard to meet
totally.
punkers when you're in college. Usually they don't go to college.
That's right.
So at this show, is it just for people that are students?
No, it's actually open to the public. So anyone can go, and it's free to the public too. It's free
Wow,
for
okay.
students, free to the public. So anyone in the Chicago area who wants to come out, come out. And the best part about it is that if you're old like me, the show starts at 5:30 and it's
Ah,
over by 7:30, so you could get home, you could still watch your show, you could still be in bed by 10 and get to work the next day. It's perfect.
I used to laugh when people would make that joke, but we just had South by Southwest here the other week, and
Hmm.
we went to see the Rejects play, and they went on at 10. That wasn't terrible. They were done by 11. But then the next show went to see Alanis Morissette, and she didn't go on until like 11 and played all the way until 12:30. And there was another group after, and I said, you know what? I'm finally ready to admit defeat that I would like to go home at 12:30 after a whole show from Alanis Morissette.
Yeah, that's getting late, man. That's tough.
I would say the best part about this thing you're doing is you mentioned something about deep cuts and that you were taking suggestions.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to do a lot of deep cuts that I don't normally play, which is cool. I mean, right, like so the idea for the show itself is kind of centers around like how punk rock is significant within social issues, right, or how it
Yes.
influences social issues. And so Alistair isn't necessarily a political band, right? Like
No, it's
that's
mostly it's fun. It's about love,
yes, exactly.
life.
We have some songs dotted around our catalog that sort of deal with that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to play a couple of those if I can. Hot Alice has a few more of those where I would say we're a little bit more political, a little bit more socially influenced based, as far as like our lyrics go.
Yeah.
So I'm probably gonna play some of those songs too. And then I might play like a song or two of just my own sort of solo stuff that I've written in the past. I put out an EP, an acoustic EP ages ago.
Oh yeah, I
It's
remember.
probably somewhere on Apple Music.
It
So I
is.
might play one of those songs.
Um, I can't even think of what would be a political Alistair song. I don't even can't think of one.
There's a song I think on our record called Countdown to Nowhere called Free That
Yeah.
one, that's a little bit more political oriented.
You got to get that back on Apple Music. I can't listen to it anymore.
I know. We had that conversation yesterday. I don't know what's going on with it. I know with that one and with Life Behind Machines,
Not
there's an
on there, yeah.
issue. There's an issue with Universal Music over in Japan, and so we're trying to sort that out right now, getting it on Apple and Spotify. So hopefully soon we'll see.
Oh yeah. Well, you got 3 out of 5 on there, plus the 20-year anniversary. So
Yes, which is cool.
doing okay.
Yeah, not too bad.
So what else is coming up for you besides the show on April 1st? I know you mentioned you have a few shows you're rehearsing. Where are you going?
Yeah, we got so Alistair's doing we're doing a headlining show with Show Off in Aurora, Illinois on May shit, I'm gonna fuck up the date. I think it's May 15th. It's a Friday.
So old school. I
Um
love it.
yeah. So that's gonna be really fun. And then the weekend after that we're flying over to the UK to play Slam Dunk Festival, which is awesome. That's gonna be cool. Like awesome bands are playing it. Motion City Soundtrack, Suicide Machines, Good Charlotte, um, Taking Back Sunday. I think like there's a whole bunch of really cool bands, so that's going to be really fun. That's on the Alistair front, like I said, with Hot Alice. We're just writing, rehearsing for. Hopefully, we can record a new record sometime this year. I think that's the goal. I don't know when that's going to happen or what it's going to look like, but we're getting close. And I can tell you, this is a really cool announcement. I haven't told anybody this yet, so I'm
Yeah.
announcing it first thing on your show. It's the first time
Exclusive.
anyone's going to hear this. I have a side project that I started that's just me, that I've been like noodling around doing some like sort of like synth pop, lo-fi,
Oh
weird
wow.
stuff just over the last like 4 or 5 years. Like it's nothing serious, but I'm finally mixing all the songs. I've gotten everything recorded for it. I'm in the final stages of mixing it, so I'm hoping to release that um, sometime, maybe early summer. It's called Goodnight Future Boy, so keep an eye out for that. Probably sometime in the next like 3 or 4 months.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah,
Few
it's
more
cool. It's
minutes
good
and then I'll
stuff.
let you go get back to your life. I did want to
Yeah,
ask
no.
you, besides me, most pop punk fans of a certain age, they cite you as one of their favorites, maybe like underrated or, should have been at this high point maybe in America, but you were like at this point. Have any of the bands that you grew up loving, like Green Day or Screeching Weasel or Jimmy Eat World, have any of them ever approached you and said that they were a fan of Alistair?
Um, not the bands I think that I've I grew up listening to.
Okay.
But I did think what was really cool is like one of the last times we played, I think it was maybe last time we played Slam Dunk in the UK. We Either it was we were doing a sound check or maybe it was when we actually played. We saw sort of like all of the guys from All Time Low like on the side of the stage, and I didn't know those guys at all,
Yeah,
but
that's
I guess
nice.
they were like really big Alistair fans, and so they were, they came up to us after we got done. They're like, we just wanted to say like we're huge Alistair fans. I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like, thanks, man. Like, it's so weird for us because like we've never been that type of band, at least Alistair, like we never took ourselves seriously, right? So when like big bands or like, people that have been influenced by us tell us that they're huge fans, like it's overwhelmingly cool because we never in a million years thought that would happen, or like why would that happen? Like we're just these four dorks from Chicago who play punk rock in our garage, right? Like never intending to really do anything with it. So it's like super flattering anytime anybody says that.
And we all here love that you're still doing it. I mean, you take time off every now and again, but it's not like you broke up for a decade and now you're doing a big comeback. You've been around. You've been here.
Yeah, we have been. And it's, and that's what's cool, I think, about being able to do it now is that, because we're busy, we have, quote unquote, real jobs and families and kids and stuff like that. It's like, so it's hard to do full time band stuff and music, but I think it gives you a little bit more of an appreciation for it when it's
Yeah.
not your full-time job, and it allows you to just kind of sit back and actually enjoy what you're doing. And I tend to think that the writing becomes better in the what you produce ends up being a little bit better in the long run because there's not as much pressure on you to do it. And I think that's true for us, just at least over the last 10 years.
I agree. I've been saying that a lot lately. I never did this as a job, but I wanted to do this as a job, especially in the mid 2000s to
Hmm.
late 2010s, and it never panned out that way. So I took a break, like you kind of do, and got a career going and a regular life, and now I'm just back doing it for fun, and it makes it more enjoyable because
Totally.
I'm just talking to whoever I want. Like I've known you for a long time, and I love your
Yeah.
music. I wanted to have a conversation. Why not? Whereas before, I had to really say, oh, who should I get on? So then I could show that to this person at MTV, and then maybe they'll give me a show. Now it isn't. I don't care. Just have on whoever I
Yeah.
want, whoever I like. Makes it more
Exactly.
fun.
Totally does. Yeah. It's
There's no
awesome. I
pressure
love
at
it.
all. I can just do anything I want here.
Yep. Yeah. And what I also like too is we have the ability to say no now, right? Like if there's something that we just don't want to do or like we don't have to go out of our way to do it, and that's kind of a liberating feeling sometimes, right? You don't
Yeah.
always have to do things, and I think that's kind of cool.
Well, that's the most punk rock thing of all, right? Do whatever you want.
That's right. Fuck
Hey, this
it.
was a great conversation, and
Dude, thanks for having me.
thanks for hanging out. Thank you everybody who came to the live and everybody who's watching the replay. I hope you enjoyed and leave comments on the replay as well.
Yep.
And
Thanks, guys.
let's keep in touch and go check out some Pin and Gunpowder when you get
I
off.
will, for
Have a
sure.
good night, Tim. See you.
All
Talk to you
right.
soon. Bye,
See ya.
everybody.
Bye.